Well, good morning. Welcome to our next Rector's Forum. We're going to have some folks on Zoom, so if they have questions, we'll just kind of call those as they come up. But otherwise, let's go ahead and get started. So the Lord be with you. Let us pray. Gracious Father, we pray for thy holy Catholic Church. Fill it with all truth, in all truth with all peace. Where it is corrupt, purify it. Where it is in error, direct it. Where in anything it is amiss, reform it. Where it is right, strengthen it. Where it is in want, provide for it. Where it is divided, reunite it. For the sake of Jesus Christ, thy Son, our Savior. Amen. Thanks so much for joining us today. We are doing some catch up since our last Rector's Forum in September. There were a lot of coming soons and a lot of them have come. So it's a great time to catch up. On a note about personnel, as you know, both our pastoral associate and rector's associate have begun their work. Charles and Jim working in slightly different areas, but being a great support. I know that many of you have received phone calls and visits and notes, and so we're so grateful that they are with us and supporting our pastoral care ministry. A note about Deacon Bob. I know many of you have asked me about him. He is continuing to care for Esther, and that really is taking most of his energy and time. So we are continuing to have him just sort of on leave, we're sort of calling it. So you will not see him liturgically anyway. And we are entering into the time period when we'll be renewing our agreement with the bishop each year. And so we're going to be in conversation with the bishop about what that looks like for now. It may mean that Bob is with us in the pews for a bit, and we'll just kind of have to see about that. So we have delegated out a lot of the work that Bob was doing, and Jim's picked up some of that stuff, but just know that that's where we are, and please do continue to hold Esther and Bob in your prayers. When we met last time, Sarah was still with us. Sarah has retired. She looks like she is having way too much fun, or maybe sufficiently fun. And Stephen Trumbull, our new minister of music, has begun with us. We are so excited to welcome him. He has been a great addition already, and he's still getting his feet under him. It's a lot to sort of jump into a program years that's already running. But Sarah was really gracious and planned out a lot of our music, really to get us up to Advent. So Stephen is now kind of getting his head around Advent and Christmas, and we've got those plans in place, and we'll be sharing that with all of our worship coordinators here soon, but we're looking forward to a really festive Advent and Christmas season. As it is now, choir continues to be on Wednesdays, and so that seems to be working, and he's continuing to partner with our choral scholars. Couple of notes about sabbatical. As
there
you know,
we go, I got it.
The team is continuing its work. That team consists of Tori Opstott, Paul Simmons, Carrie Linsenmeyer, Judy Bristow, Andrea Sheffield, Lynn Calabrese, Nancy Bird, and then the staff liaisons of myself and Robin Axness helping us with communications. As you may have heard, we received the Lilly grant for the sabbatical, so we were really excited about that. We found out that there were 168 parishes who got the Lilly grant this year. In our diocese, only 2 of us received them. When you look at that long list, they are not all Episcopalians. It's quite diverse ecumenically. And so when you look at the long list of 168, actually a very small portion of them are Episcopalians. So we are very blessed and grateful about having received that grant. The grant money, just so that you know, is kind of broken into 2 parts. One is a portion for the parish, and the other is a portion for the clergy person to kind of help with all the travel and other events they'll be doing. For the parish, what it does help us with coverage for is supply clergy. Those will be preaching and doing some additional pastoral care work, but also all of our programming. So we are really excited about that because the The agreement we all had with ourselves is that if we didn't get the grant, that would need to come out of operating. And so now those costs do not need to come out of operating. So that's really wonderful. But as a note, that grant does not cover anything else in our operating budget. So know that all our normal costs are still those costs, but we now don't have to worry about really being able to celebrate during our time of sabbatical. You should have received a survey about activities that you would like as part of our sabbatical on the church's side. Some of you filled it out. We didn't have as big of a response, so if you are still want to give your feedback, we would love to hear you. Otherwise, we'll just plan based on the response we got, but we're really excited about the many different things that the parish is going to be doing during those 12 weeks. One of the things that we're doing in the time leading up to that is sort of giving some previews. So we do have a book group that is meeting this month as sort of a preview of time of thinking about sabbatical and refreshment and renewal. We're going to be reading the book, The Dearly Beloved. There have been announcements in your epistle and in the nuggets, and there are flyers all around. So we hope that you will join us. We did set it up so that you could participate in person or virtually. We will meet on Sundays. So next Sunday and the next will be the book discussion group. So if you don't have the book, grab it. I think there are still a couple of copies too before you go, or you can grab one on Amazon or whatever is helpful for you. But if this time doesn't work for you, or you just prefer virtual, know that we will have, especially for our people on Zoom tonight or today, we will have a Tuesday night Zoom that is the same discussion as what we do on Sundays. So we won't be live streaming the Sunday offering, but we will have an offering on Tuesday evenings via Zoom, and there's a link also in your epistle for that. We are looking at the time. We had normally scheduled it at 7, but we also realized our seekers meet then, so we're looking at shifting the time. It might be to 6, so pay attention to your epistle about when that is, if that's your preferred way of gathering. So that's it about sabbatical. Our committees have been really active, particularly a lot behind the scenes you don't always see. Stewardship, as you know, has been working on its campaign throughout the month of October. We are about 2/3 to 3/4 of where we want to be, both in number of pledges and the amount of pledging. So if you have not yet turned in your pledge card or your time and talent form, you still can do that. And we are hoping that we're able to really charge forward with the giving that we've already received as well. Formation, as you know, we restarted our nursery this program year, and that's been really great, especially for our families with little ones. It allows them to do things like participate in adult forum, to participate in worship. I know we've got a choir member who has a little one, and so that's enabled her to sort of really be in worship without needing to worry about juggling little ones. So we're really grateful for that work. Sunday school, as you'll see people coming in and out, is active again for both ages, sets of groups, and our youth group has reactivated too. For pastoral care, our Stephen ministers are busy with their work behind the scenes. If you believe that you may like someone to journey with you through something, or somebody else who you think, I think they could maybe use a partner in prayer, let us know, and we're happy to get them connected with a Stephen minister. Parish life has also been busy. In addition to all the fun stuff we get to enjoy, like coffee during this time or coffee hour, coffee after the 8 o'clock, they have also really started, I think for the first time, I don't think we've had a regular women's group. And so now there is a women's group who is meeting once a month. It's often the same weekend that the men gather, but they've been gathering on Sundays. They are taking a little break this month because we're doing Advent wreaths, and so that one is not there this month, but it will be back in December. So keep an eye out for upcoming events with them. And then finally, worship has been quite busy. We had a wedding at the beginning of October for the Arsement family, Kathy and Larry's daughter, so it's very exciting being a part of that. And then we also hosted Dean Markham with us. It was really wonderful to have him here, both teaching and preaching. The services obviously are online if you'd like to go back if you missed it, and his presentation was also recorded. So that is both on our website and on Facebook and maybe YouTube, I'm not sure. But look, and you'll be able to find those videos archived. Let's see. Just as a note about that, we do have another guest coming up in December. The Reverend Canon Willis Foster, who is our Canon for Diversity, is coming to talk with us and to lead this hour, but also to be with us in the pulpit. So we'll be hearing from him. Willis retired out of Petersburg and is now working with the diocesan office on a part-time basis and doing this work that's so important. Willis also was helpful with us as we were developing our safety plan. I don't know if you remember, but before the pandemic, we put together a safety team and plan, and Willis was part of the training team from the diocese that helped us with that. He's a great guy, former military and longtime priest, and just a really wonderful guy all around. So I'm looking forward to enjoying his sharing with us. Looking ahead, we know that Advent is coming. Our many of our regular offerings will be with us, so that's very exciting. We'll be having Advent lessons and carols on the second Sunday in Advent. We'll be having our Christmas Eve services at their normal time. Well, normal. I don't even know if there's normal anymore, but at times that we have done before. So it'll be our family service at 4, our sung mass at 8, and then our candlelight service in the historic chapel at 11 o'clock. The 8 o'clock will definitely be live streamed. Maybe the 4, we're still working out those details. They are very different services, so we talked about whether we might want to broadcast both of them. So we'll let you know, but you'll have access to something on Christmas Eve. Christmas Day, if you haven't looked at your calendar already, is on a Sunday, which makes life tricky. So for us, maybe not for you, but for us. We are going to offer one Christmas Day service at 10 a.m. We know that many of you will still be in pajamas or sitting around the Christmas tree or maybe getting meals ready. But if you want to pop over, we would love to have you. We are going to have music. We are intending to live stream it. And so we do hope that you'll join us for that service if you're able. You can put stuff in the oven, come over, and then run back home. But we would love to have you on Christmas Day. We will still have our Blue Christmas service offering. We are working on whether we can offer it in the historic chapel and live stream with some twists and turns with technology. So stay tuned about that, but looking forward to that. Of course, we continue very much to want to support our online ministry. So many folks are connecting with us still online. Both our longtime parishioners, new parishioners, and just members of the community. So it's a really wonderful ministry that we really look forward to and want to continue to include. We are exploring some ways that we can better engage our hybrid community in the same way. So in particular, for our forums, one of the disadvantages of being on Zoom in our current technology setting is that they can't see you. And so we're working on potentially getting a grant to cover some technology that would help them see you, help them hear you, and maybe it feel a little more engaging, which would also help all of our other hybrid gatherings as well. So stay tuned for more about that. Keep an eye out for continuing offerings through the year of sabbatical as we prepare for that. There'll be activities and other opportunities to engage as we prepare for that. It doesn't start until May, mid-May of next year, but we have another book group coming up in the spring and some other events that will be happening as well. If you haven't had a chance to take a look at it, we have redesigned our website, and so it is a really beautiful revamp, and we're really excited about it. It does mean you do have to kind of look around a little more to find things from where you normally have found them, but do experiment with it, use it. I think you'll find it a lot more user-friendly, particularly for events that are happening. They're a little closer to the top when you're scrolling. So it should be a little more easy to use in that way. Note that as stewardship is continuing and as we continue to receive pledge cards and time and talent forms, we do collect all those time and talent forms and they need to be input. So it will take a little bit. So if you offer to do a new ministry this year, or you maybe want to retire from one and try something else, you will be notified by your vestry member, but it will be in a while. So just know that it won't be immediately, but that we are taking that information and inputting that data into our system. I think those are the big things, which leads us a lot of time for Q&A. So wanted to see if you had other questions or things I didn't cover that you would like to hear about. Linda Becker says online that the website is so much more usable. Good work. Thank you, Linda. Happy to hear that, and I'm glad you've played with it. That's really awesome. So good, good, good. Any other questions? Really? Wow. Yes, John. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. I wish I had our org chart. If you've ever looked at our org chart, you've got staff kind of up above, you've got vestry members who are liaisons, and so there is a vestry liaison to pastoral care, which currently is Andrea Sheffield, and then below that are all the little committees or groups who kind of fall under that. Pastoral care is the longest column, I think. Oh, we do have one. I'm gonna show this online, so I don't know if they can see. No, it's too fuzzy. Anyway, they'll be able to figure it out. Oh, that's better if it's near my face. No, there we go. Yay. Okay. So if you look on this chart, this one is pastoral care. So see how many different ministries are underneath this. The only other one that's equally long is worship, but that's because all the different ministries get a little group. So like lectors, Eucharistic ministers, altar guilds. So that makes a lot of sense. Pastoral care actually has quite a wide coverage. So that includes Eucharistic visitors. Eucharistic visitors have been inactive during the pandemic, really since the pandemic, because of the safety concerns, particularly with vulnerable populations health-wise. For the longest time, we couldn't even be in person, and then we weren't sure like what was the safest way. In the meantime, people have, moved to other ministries, and so that ministry area is being revamped. Charles is our staff liaison to that group, and so we are working on getting them back together, doing some refreshing training, and then starting a rotation again so that we can get out to our shut-ins or homebound folks. It's a little tricky discerning what homebound means now too, because we do have folks who are homebound in the ways that we may have traditionally defined it, but then we also have some folks who are just being a lot more careful. So some folks who are really engaging thoroughly with online worship, but not coming in person. So we're trying to figure out how do we balance that, because that does expand the number of folks who would need visits. So know that that's kind of underway. Also under there is our card ministry. You likely have received a card if you've been ill, if you've had a life change, if you have been in grief. So that group continues to work and partner with the clergy with getting cards out. Our meal ministry has had some activity. It's also kind of needed a restart because again, with being at home and people being comfortable with people coming into the homes, but we have been able to serve some folks, particularly where, say, perhaps a spouse was sick and then the parishioner needed some help with feeding the family or the couple. So know that. Our new parent ministry has also been active. That is a similar ministry to the meal ministry, but just sort of happens all at one time at the beginning when a baby comes home. So we let that ministry know, and they've been really great about getting meals out to those families. Prayer advocates is our group of folks who agree to confidentially hold names in prayer. Our coordinator for that is Lynn Kelly, and so anyone can send anything they want to be prayed for, whether it's you, a family member, or even just a friend or colleague. It gets emailed out to that group, and then they hold it in their prayers. sometimes your clergy don't find out that you need prayers except through that ministry. So I encourage you to let your clergy know, in addition to the prayer advocates, what's going on, so that we can also be attentive to you. We are on the distribution list, so we do eventually get it, but just as a note about that. Our parish nurse and health ministry is still in existence. Carolyn Gaylord is our parish nurse. But Carolyn has also been really careful during this time and has been really cautious. So a lot of her work has been remote. And so if you still need her assistance, know that you can reach out to her via email and text and phone call. Transportation team has also had a hiatus and then is trying to regroup, and the coordinator stepped back. So we have one parishioner in particular who asked for some help, and we were able to connect them with someone in their neighborhood, but that is a ministry that we value, particularly for those who can't drive and want to come to church in person. Prayer shawl ministry is still active and gets out shawls to those who are going through crisis or transition, and we bless those and get them out and delivered. Our newcomers committee falls under parish, under pastoral care, mostly as we think about greeting. What I will say is that that group is currently inactive, and so that's also on our list. We are welcoming people and doing all that we can, but it's not as structured as it has been in the past. And then finally, Stephen Ministry is the other group that's in that ministry area, and they are active. They're meeting regularly, and so we obviously don't talk about how many people or who they are connected with, but we do have those opportunities for one-on-one, longer-term care as perhaps someone's going through crisis or transition and really wants a prayer partner with them. That's the whole category of pastoral care. What I will say, if it's helpful at all to understand how your clergy are working, so Charles is technically our pastoral associate, and so he is over that entire column, but he is also working with the clergy, so helping us divide up who we need to go see, who needs visitation, that sort of thing. Jim, our rector's associate, is doing pastoral visitations. That's not his primary responsibility. Well, that's not his primary administrative responsibility, but it is where he spends the most time. So Jim is also doing visits and making calls and things like that. And I continue to do those things too, whether it's taking communion out, hitting the hospital, visiting someone who's asked for a visit, making phone calls, those sorts of things. So does that answer your question, John? That was a really long answer, but it's a complicated and big ministry.
It's a really broad question.
Yeah. So good. Okay. Good.
Do we have access to that?
Yeah, we can get that. Yes, absolutely. Yes. I'll figure out a way we can get it posted in the Narthex too. So that would be no problem. Okay, yeah, perfect. Yeah, it's a big chart. So yes. But it does help. We found it to be really helpful in our work with vestry. The whole point of the organizational chart for us was, as things were coming up and we're like, oh, I'll take that. I'm like, hold on, that might be best under formation. Let's have them come in with their expertise, or let's move this around. And so it's been a helpful tool for us. But yes, happy to get it out there. So yes. Others? Yes, sorry, I'm going to click. I see a chat. Oh, no, it's the same chat we already saw. Okay. Yes, Bob.
I'm attending a retreat at the end of this week for veterans and active duty. It's being done at Galilee Episcopal Town in Virginia Beach. I would like very much to see if we could transfer some of this here.
Oh, yeah.
And if not, make this retreat available to people that are in this parish. We have a lot of veterans.
Yes.
On active duty.
Yes.
I talked to my counselor about this. I'm going to talk to him when I get down there this weekend.
Yes. Yeah.
So basically what he does is set up retreats for couples for 2.5 days.
Okay.
They pay for the retreat. So
okay.
There's no cost to go down and do it.
Okay.
But I think it's a good way to bring some of the veterans in this church,
yeah,
their spouses back in.
Yeah.
And it's a good way to do it.
Yes, oh, that's great. So for those of you online who maybe couldn't hear Bob, he was saying that he is heading to a veterans retreat down in Virginia Beach led by a priest who does that work. And he was wondering if there's a way that we can share in that ministry or offer that ministry for our veterans. Yes, I think an exploratory conversation with Nigel would be wonderful, whether we let people know they can go that way, or if we could get him here, I would love that. Yes. Oh my goodness. This is Galilee, right? Yes, 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 yes. Yes, both of your, well, actually, three of your four clergy are veterans. And so this is an issue that's important to us. And we know that a lot of our parish are veterans. And we have some active folks serving in the military too. So, yes, please keep me posted about how that conversation goes. And I would love for us to talk more about how we can make that available. Yes. Yeah, great. Yeah, Jim. Oh, nice. Okay. Okay, great. So Jim says that there's another event happening for veterans, and so he's also going to get some information. So we'll see what we can do. I think that would be lovely. So yes, yes. Others? Any other questions? One of the things I forgot to mention that has happened since we met last was our fall festival. I can't believe I forgot that. So this year we did virtual yet again. Just as a note, and you've probably noticed maybe this in ministry areas where you are working, although we are able to continue to engage in ministry, we do have less volunteers these days. And so because of a lack of volunteer leadership, they decided that doing it virtually was the best we could do. We just couldn't pull off the full huge event that we had in the past. There also were some questions about regulations with the county around food and all that sort of stuff. And so we just decided, well, we've done this 3 years, well, this is our third year now. And so we'll do that again as at least a way to begin to support our outreach ministries. We did a live auction and then put on Sign Up Genius, our amazing grazing ministries. The last I heard was we were around $3,000. Awesome. So we're getting close to about 4,000. Yeah, that's wonderful. So really wonderful. Again, all that money just goes straight out. It doesn't come into operating. We send it out to the ministry areas that need it. One of the things that you will have seen in your narrative budget is that because we've only been able to do those virtual fall festivals, we would like to put more funding in the outreach budget so that we can do more, but that will depend on how our pledges go. So know that that's been an articulated priority because we really do want to continue to support our neighbors and really the ministries in our community that are doing amazing work. But we really have to be thoughtful then about how we fund that. So yes, good. Anybody else? Just checking the chat. Other questions or comments? Okay, good. Thank you so much. And we will look forward to seeing you in worship. Those of you who are online, hop on Facebook or YouTube, and we'll see you real soon. Thanks, guys.